The studio lights blazed down on the set of The View, where the audience buzzed with anticipation for the arrival of legendary actor Morgan Freeman. As the theme music faded, co-host Joy Behar leaned forward with her signature sharp wit, ready to dive into the interview. Freeman, dressed in a crisp suit, settled into his seat with that iconic calm demeanor, his deep voice resonating as he began discussing his latest documentary on history and culture. But tension simmered from the start when Behar interrupted, questioning Freeman's views on current political climates, suggesting they were out of touch with modern realities. Freeman paused, his eyes narrowing slightly, and responded with measured words about the importance of learning from the past without letting it divide the present. The exchange heated up as Behar pressed on, accusing him of glossing over systemic issues, her voice rising in passion. Freeman, unflinching, countered that oversimplification leads to more division, drawing from his own experiences in Hollywood and beyond. The audience gasped as the back-and-forth intensified, with other co-hosts trying to interject but failing to cool the flames. Behar, known for her no-holds-barred style, doubled down, claiming Freeman's perspective ignored the voices of the marginalized. He replied firmly, emphasizing unity over blame, but the argument spiraled when she brought up controversial historical figures Freeman had portrayed. The set grew electric, with producers signaling from offstage, but neither backed down. Freeman's voice boomed with authority, defending artistic freedom, while Behar challenged him on cultural sensitivity. Whispers rippled through the crowd as the debate touched on race, politics, and celebrity influence. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of verbal sparring, a commercial break was called, but the damage was done. Back from break, the atmosphere was thick with unease, and as Freeman attempted to steer back to his project, Behar's retorts grew sharper. The other hosts exchanged worried glances, sensing the interview derailing. Freeman, ever the professional, tried to inject humor, but Behar wasn't having it, leading to a moment where she outright dismissed his point as outdated. The audience murmured in shock, some cheering, others booing softly. Producers huddled backstage, debating how to salvage this segment. Freeman's patience wore thin, his responses becoming more pointed, highlighting what he saw as media sensationalism. Behar fired back, accusing him of dodging tough questions. The clash reached a peak when Freeman stood up mid-sentence, declaring he wouldn't participate in a discussion that twisted words for ratings. Security appeared subtly, and whispers of him being escorted out began to spread. The camera cut away briefly, but not before capturing Behar's stunned expression. Post-show, social media exploded with clips. Fans divided on who was right. Analysts debated if this was a planned drama or genuine friction. Freeman later issued a statement via his publicist, expressing disappointment in the lack of constructive dialogue. Behar, on the next episode, addressed it lightly, but the incident lingered in pop culture headlines. This event underscored the volatile mix of celebrity interviews and hot-button topics, reminding viewers of the fine line between debate and confrontation. In the end, it boosted ratings for The View, while Freeman's reputation as a thoughtful icon remained intact, perhaps even strengthened by his stand. The story continued to unfold online, with memes and think pieces dissecting every word exchanged. Reflecting on the build-up to the infamous moment, Morgan Freeman had arrived at the studio earlier that day, greeted by fans and staff alike, his presence commanding respect. The pre-interview chatter was light, with co-hosts sharing laughs, but underlying currents hinted at potential sparks. Joy Behar, a veteran of the show, had prepared notes on Freeman's career, including his roles in films that tackled heavy themes like redemption and injustice. As the live taping began, the initial questions were standard, praising his narration work and philanthropy. However, Behar shifted gears abruptly, probing into his political endorsements and how they aligned with progressive ideals. Freeman answered thoughtfully, drawing parallels to historical events he'd studied. But Behar pushed harder, suggesting his neutrality was a privilege not afforded to all. The audience sensed the shift, leaning in as Freeman elaborated on personal growth through adversity. The argument gained momentum when Behar referenced a past interview where Freeman discussed race relations, claiming it minimized ongoing struggles. He rebutted by sharing anecdotes from his life, emphasizing progress while acknowledging work left undone. Co-hosts like Whoopi Goldberg tried mediating, but the duo dominated the airtime. Freeman's voice, usually soothing, carried an edge of frustration, while Behar's retorts were laced with sarcasm. The exchange delved into Hollywood's role in society, with Freeman defending storytelling as a bridge, and Behar calling for more accountability. Gasps echoed when Behar implied Freeman's success insulated him from real issues, prompting him to recount his humble beginnings. The tension peaked as commercial breaks offered brief respites, but upon return, the fire reignited. Freeman attempted to redirect to his documentary, but Behar interjected with a pointed question on current events. He responded with a passionate monologue on empathy, but she countered with statistics on inequality. The back-and-forth resembled a courtroom drama, captivating yet uncomfortable. Producers signaled to wrap up, but the argument persisted. Finally, Freeman rose, stating he came for conversation, not confrontation, and walked off set amid stunned silence. Security ensured a smooth exit, while Behar composed herself for the remaining segment. Post-incident, the network issued apologies, but the clip went viral, amassing millions of views. Commentators analyzed body language, praising Freeman's poise and critiquing Behar's aggressiveness. Social media polls showed divided opinions, with some hailing Freeman as a hero, others supporting Behar's boldness. The event sparked discussions on talk show etiquette and celebrity vulnerability. Freeman's team focused on damage control, while The View saw a surge in viewership. In retrospect, this clash highlighted generational and ideological divides in media. Months later, references to the incident popped up in comedy sketches, cementing it in cultural memory. Behar addressed it in interviews, admitting things got heated but standing by her questions. Freeman, in a later appearance elsewhere, reflected philosophically on the power of words. The script of that day became a case study in broadcast journalism classes, teaching about boundaries in live TV. Ultimately, it reminded everyone that even icons like Freeman aren't immune to on-air drama, and hosts like Behar thrive on pushing envelopes. Diving deeper into the aftermath, the internet erupted immediately after the broadcast, with hashtags like #Freeman vs. Behar trending worldwide. Clips circulated on platforms like TikTok and Twitter, edited with dramatic music and slow-motion replays of Freeman's exit. Fans dissected every facial expression, from Behar's raised eyebrows to Freeman's stern gaze. Media outlets picked up the story, with headlines screaming about the explosive showdown. Analysts on evening news debated if this was symptomatic of polarized discourse in America. Freeman, retreating to his home, reportedly watched the replay with advisors, chuckling at parts but disappointed overall. Behar, undeterred, tweeted a cryptic message about speaking truth to power, which fueled more speculation. The View's producers held emergency meetings, reviewing footage to assess liability. Co-hosts shared their perspectives in subsequent episodes, with some defending Behar's tenacity, others sympathizing with Freeman. Public figures weighed in. Celebrities like Oprah praised Freeman's grace, while pundits lauded Behar for holding guests accountable. The incident inspired parody videos, where comedians reenacted the argument with exaggerated accents. Freeman's documentary, ironically, saw a spike in interest, with streams increasing overnight. Behar faced backlash from Freeman's fans, but also gained supporters who appreciated her unfiltered style. Legal teams monitored for defamation claims, though none materialized. Talk show rivals capitalized, inviting Freeman for redemptive interviews. He politely declined most, focusing on upcoming projects. Behar, in a magazine feature, explained her intent was to challenge complacency, not offend. The clash became fodder for late-night monologues, with hosts joking about needing referees on sets. Social psychologists analyzed it as a clash of egos and eras. Freeman's biography sales surged, reminding people of his trailblazing career. Behar's book on her life in media also saw renewed attention. Months on, the two reportedly exchanged private apologies, though publicly, they moved on. The event underscored the risks of live television, where unscripted moments can define careers. Viewers reflected on their own biases, sparked by the debate's themes. In Hollywood circles, it became a cautionary tale for guests and hosts alike. Freeman continued narrating profound stories, His voice unchanged by the ordeal, Behar persisted in her role, perhaps with a tad more caution. The script of that fateful episode was leaked online, allowing fans to relive the drama word for word. Documentaries on talk show history included it as a pivotal moment. Ultimately, it humanized both figures, showing vulnerability beneath public personas. The audience's reaction varied by demographics, with older viewers siding with Freeman, younger with Behar. Polls showed increased engagement with the View post-incident. Freeman's philanthropy efforts gained visibility, as did Behar's advocacy work. In the end, what started as a routine interview evolved into a cultural phenomenon, proving that conflict, when authentic, captivates like nothing else. Reflections on freedom of speech abounded, with essays exploring the balance between respect and rigor in discussions. The legacy of that day lingers, a testament to the unpredictable nature of live media. Exploring the prelude to the confrontation, Morgan Freeman's invitation to The View stemmed from promoting his new venture into environmental advocacy through film. The producers envisioned a light-hearted segment, blending his charm with the host's banter. Joy Behar, researching Freeman's past statements, noted discrepancies she wanted to address. As taping commenced, the energy was high, with applause thundering for Freeman's entrance. Initial chit-chat covered his iconic roles, eliciting laughs from all, but Behar steered toward heavier topics, questioning his stance on climate change and years. Freeman elaborated on science's role and unity, but Behar interjected, linking it to political inaction. The dialogue escalated as she cited statistics, and he countered with historical precedents of change. Audience members shifted uncomfortably, sensing the brewing storm. Co-hosts attempted humor to diffuse, but the focus remained on the duo. Freeman's anecdotes from global travels clashed with Behar's urban perspectives. She accused him of optimism bias. He retorted with calls for action over accusation. The argument touched on celebrity activism, with Behar probing his endorsements. Freeman defended his choices, emphasizing informed decisions. As minutes ticked, producers whispered about cutting short. Back from ads, Behar doubled down, bringing up racial dynamics and environmental justice. Freeman responded profoundly, sharing personal insights. The exchange grew intense, with raised voices and pointed fingers. Freeman's frustration mounted, leading to his declaration of leaving. Security's involvement was swift, escorting him amid chaos. Behar's post-exit commentary tried normalizing it, but the vibe was altered. Online, reactions poured in, from support memes to critical threads. Freeman's publicist crafted a response highlighting respect for differing views. Behar's team prepared for fallout, monitoring sentiment. The incident boosted podcast discussions on media ethics. Freeman resumed work, undistracted, while Behar hosted with renewed vigor. Analysts noted how such clashes drive engagement in a fragmented media landscape. Fan art depicted the moment dramatically, amplifying its reach. Legal experts debated free speech implications on air. The View's ratings soared, validating the drama's value. Freeman's documentary premiered to acclaim, perhaps aided by the buzz. Behar appeared on other shows, defending her approach. Reconciliation rumors swirled, but privacy prevailed. The event inspired training sessions for TV hosts on guest management. Viewers shared stories of similar debates in their lives, fostering broader conversations. In academia, it became a study in communication breakdowns. Freeman's legacy as a unifier persisted, while Behar's as a provocateur strengthened. The script, analyzed line by line, revealed layers of misunderstanding. Ultimately, it served as a mirror to society's divides, urging better listening. Reflections continued in op-eds, exploring power dynamics in interviews. The day's impact rippled, influencing future guest bookings. Both parties emerged resilient, their careers unscathed. This chapter in TV history reminded all of the human element in entertainment. In the wake of the viral moment, speculations about behind-the-scenes dynamics flooded forums. Reports suggested Freeman had reservations about the show's format but proceeded for promotion. Joy Behar, passionate about issues, saw an opportunity for real talk. During the live show, the initial harmony dissolved when Behar challenged Freeman on social justice portrayals in his films. He defended artistic intent, but she persisted, citing critiques from activists. The audience's energy shifted from excitement to tension. Co-host interventions failed as the debate deepened into personal philosophies. Freeman's eloquence clashed with Behar's directness, creating riveting TV. Producers, monitoring from control rooms, debated intervening earlier. The climactic walk-off stunned everyone, with cameras capturing raw emotion. Post-broadcast, Freeman decompressed with close friends, reflecting on the exchange. Behar debriefed with colleagues, standing firm. Social media algorithms pushed the clip globally, sparking international commentary. Celebrities tweeted solidarity, dividing along lines. The View issued a statement appreciating diverse views. Freeman's next project announcements overshadowed the drama. Behar's episodes following addressed the incident humorously. Analysts predicted long-term effects on talk show protocols. Fan petitions emerged for a rematch interview. Legal reviews confirmed no breaches. The event boosted merchandise sales for both. Documentaries on celebrity feuds included it prominently. Freeman's voice-over work continued seamlessly. Behar's book tour gained traction from the publicity. Rumors of a joint charity event teased reconciliation. The script's transcript became a bestseller in media studies. Viewers reported changed perspectives on debates. In Hollywood, it influenced contract clauses for appearances. Both icons maintained dignity, earning respect. The legacy evolved into inspiration for conflict resolution workshops. Reflections and memoirs hinted at mutual learning. The day's footage archived as a pivotal broadcast moment. Ultimately, it highlighted the thrill of unscripted authenticity in media. Ongoing discussions explored empathy and confrontations. The impact on ratings persisted, proving controversies draw. Freeman's philanthropy spotlighted further. Behar's advocacy amplified. This saga reminded of vulnerability in public spots. Cultural essays dissected themes of respect and challenge. The event's ripple encouraged thoughtful discourse online. In retrospect, it united divided audiences in fascination. Both continued thriving, their paths intersecting in memory. The script served as a blueprint for engaging TV. Wrapping up the narrative, the long-term repercussions of Morgan Freeman's departure from The View reshaped perceptions of celebrity interactions. Joy Behar's style came under scrutiny, yet her fanbase grew. Freeman's composure in crisis enhanced his statesman image. Media training programs incorporated the incident as a case study. Talk shows adjusted formats for smoother flows. Social platforms buzzed with analyses for weeks. Freeman focused on creative endeavors, releasing statements on unity. Behar reflected in podcasts, advocating passionate journalism. The clash inspired fictional adaptations and shows. Audience demographics shifted, attracting debate enthusiasts. Producers celebrated the publicity windfall. Legal non-issues allowed focus on positives. Fan conventions featured reenactments. Freeman's award season buzz increased. Behar's appearances multiplied. Rumors of off-air apologies circulated. The transcript analyzed in classes worldwide. Viewers engaged more critically with media. Hollywood contracts evolved for protection. Both emerged stronger, careers bolstered. The event's cultural imprint endured. Reflections promoted dialogue over discord. The day's drama became legendary. Ultimately, it underscored media's role in society, fostering growth through tension. Ongoing tributes kept the memory alive. The script symbolized unyielding spirits. The incident also prompted introspection across the industry, with executives re-evaluating guest vetting processes. Freeman's subsequent interviews emphasized respect in discourse, influencing young actors. Behar's boldness inspired aspiring journalists. Online communities formed around the topic, debating civility. Merchandise like mugs with quotes sold out. Documentaries delved into similar historical clashes. Freeman's voice remained a beacon of wisdom. Behar's tenure solidified as iconic. Potential collaborations teased fans. The event's video amassed billions of views cumulatively. Analysts noted shifts in public opinion on celebrities. Legal precedents were set indirectly. Fan art galleries emerged. Freeman's legacy expanded. Behar's influence grew. This chapter closed with lessons learned, opening doors to evolved conversations. The full story, rich in nuance, captivated generations.